Good morning, it's Friday the 3rd of May 2019. Welcome to this morning's United Kingdom tour coming to you from Bracknell in Berkshire. A very good morning to you boys and girls. Mike Reese-Ponto, I have unfriended you and re-added you to see if that sorts out. I see you've accepted it already, just to see if it sorts out the message problem that we seem to have. For some reason, your messages don't come through on the usual screen that everyone else's has. I'm sure that happens. It does happen to other people as well. We can't work out why that is. One of those things. Anyway, we're going to go straight to a film this morning, boys and girls. Yesterday, we were celebrating my mate's birthday. It was a couple of days ago. But for his birthday, I took him to Claridge's Hotel in Mayfair and had a wonderful time. A quick 3-minute video of our little visit yesterday. This is the entrance hall where you come into Claridge's. Mirrors all over the place in here. Lovely chandeliers. Lots of beautiful flower arranging. And where that lady's coming, that's where we're going through into there, where the eating area is. Beautiful staircase, very ornate. Little lamps all over the place. And a picture here. We're not quite sure who this lady is. Very pretty though. That bit there, we're going to be sitting under that shortly. Quick look in the bar. There he is. It's a gin and tonic. Don't believe what he says.
Lemonade.
No, dear, it's not a lemonade. It's a gin and tonic. And here we are in the eating area. Lovely piano and a cello playing in the background there. Lots of mirrors. That's another room there. Where that sort of, it's quite dark through that glass there. That's another room there. Fantastic service. We didn't want or wait for anything at all. They were always there. Very, very friendly waiters there as well, talking to us. The lady who was kind of hosting the room on the front desk, she was fantastic as well. And there's that glass thing we saw earlier, with lots of flower arranging there. Here come our lovely waiters.
If you want, if you don't like to see or you want to try a few teas, we can do that as we go along as well.
Right? Are you going to sing? Are you not going to sing for us?
No, don't sing. No, don't sing.
Unfortunately, if I sing, I'll get you 2 forks.
Oh, that's
There you
lovely.
go.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Do you want to show us the cake, Ron? Show us the little inscription
Look
on
how
it.
beautiful
What's that
that's
say?
done.
Happy birthday, Ronnie.
Isn't that beautiful?
Chocolate thing. I've not been having half of that. Doesn't seem to be one for me.
Isn't that lovely?
And after Claridge's, we popped over to Selfridges. Here's just 3 of the windows outside of there. Quite like this one. He don't look too happy sitting there, does he? What a miserable git. I love that mirror turning round there. 2 other windows there we saw. These are like just revolving heads. Very strange and mysterious looking. And 1 more shop window, that's Selfridges. And a fantastic afternoon we had at Claridge's. And that was our fantastic afternoon yesterday. What a lovely time it was. I mean, it really was. I'll tell you all about it. Let's just do our early messages this morning. Good morning to Will Peters, joining us nice and early. First message of the day there for Will Peters. Good morning to you, sir. Katie Ann Patterson. Good morning, Mike Reese. Morning. Mark Jones is in the house. Mr. Ray Reynolds, international celebrity and all-round entertainer. Good morning, Ray. Mark is off to the Colosseum today. He's in Rome. You'll have a lovely time there, Mark. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a nice time in Rome there. Are you on your own, incidentally, there? Or are you with people? Is it like some sort of celebration or a mini holiday? Well, who are you with there? Morning to Mari. Good morning, Mari, who's looking forward to, well, she just saw it, hearing all about Claridge's. I'll tell you more about it in detail in a second, Mari. Morning to you, my darling. Hopes we have a fabulous weekend. Yes, I hope we have a fabulous weekend. Although not very good weather. Not good weather at all, is it? It's got cold again. Some places are going to be -6 tomorrow. That'll be in the Highlands of Scotland, not down here in the south. Mind you, I shall be cold up at my caravan next week, I think. Good. Katie Ann says it's beautiful there. Right, okay, so Mike's been added and deleted and then added. Let's see if you've now appeared on the other chat box. No. I don't get it. I don't know why you don't appear on the other chat box. There's the Facebook chat there, which it kind of runs, but sometimes I don't always see it. It's so much to watch while you're doing a show in here. There's another chat box that all the conversations end up in front of me. It's a black box with white writing, and it says who's come off Facebook and who's on YouTube. For example, Joseph's with us this morning. Morning, Joseph. He's the only one sending messages on YouTube at the moment. And we're going to say hello to Terry as well, who's Joseph's other half. Good morning to Terry and Joseph this morning watching. Morning to you two. But nothing from Mike. I don't get it, Mike. It's really odd, isn't it? You're not the only one, as I say before. You know, I've looked before and found that there's messages on there that aren't in front of me, so I don't know what the answer is to that, really. It's very, very strange and mysterious, isn't it? So, welcome along, boys and girls. You saw the film. A great day yesterday. We left here around about 2 o'clock. I think it was about half past, what was it? About 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Our afternoon tea was booked for 5 o'clock. There was no real problems getting into London, right the way through to Mayfair. No traffic really to write home about. Not bad at all. So we got there and we parked fairly quickly as well. My mate, as you saw, is in a wheelchair some of the time now. So he's got one of those disabled badge things. So it can be very difficult to find a disabled bay. There's not as many as you would think. I mean, there really isn't. You can drive around. Oh, there's one there and there's someone parked there. We were lucky. We got to... it was like a square, like a grass bit in the middle and a square. I can't think what it was called, somewhere in Mayfair anyway. And as we got there, there's a disabled parking spot. So we parked in there. You always got to be careful when you park in these parking bays that you are inside the line. You can have one tyre over there and some, very over-important, well, actually not a policeman, but an over-important private traffic person will give you a ticket, because you're like a tiny little bit over the line. So always make sure you're parking correctly, whether you're in a disabled bay or just a normal parking bay. And got out of the wheelchair, wheeled him round, and from the moment we got to the front of Claridge's, we were looked after so well. So well. The doorman stepped out, opened the door, asked if we needed any help. Another doorman came out and said, do you want to be lifted over that little... It was a little bit of a step there. I could have pushed it up. But no, the doorman came along straight down without even asking and picked the blooming chair up and put it in. Oh, that's fantastic. Fantastic. We went straight in. We were about 45 minutes early. We were ever so early because, of course, I built in time for traffic. So we got there for a 5 o'clock afternoon tea at around about 4:15. Went and saw the lady. She welcomed us in. She was great at her job. I'm just trying to remember her name now. That she was impeccably dressed and on there, and she was standing upright like that. Spoke to us like we were the most valuable customers in the world. So ever so, we're a little bit early this morning. Oh, I'll see if I can get you a table. There's one over there. I can put you on there now if you want to. And my mate looked at it, and it was kind of at the front. And when you're in a wheelchair or there's anything wrong with you, you don't want to really be bumped. And now and again, you get a little bit of an accident. I mean, no one's going to come in here and push and shove. I tell you that now. I mean, it's very, very relaxed in there. So we said, Ronnie said, well, have you got something a little bit further at the back? Not at the moment, she says, but I'll come and get you as soon as we have. She didn't make any mention of the fact that we were too early. You know how you go to some places, oh, well, you said 3 o'clock. No, it wasn't like that at all. She wanted to get us in. So we went to the bar. She showed us where the bar was. Popped along to the bar, sat in there, lovely and quiet, as you saw the bar there. Ronnie had a gin and tonic, which he pretended was a lemonade, as you saw, again. I had a Coke. I went to the bar. He said, that's okay, sir, we'll come over to your table. Okay, right, fine. Sat down there. The drinks came over. Lovely. And then shortly afterwards... the lady came and she says, we've got another table now. Would you like to come through and see if it's suitable? I said, okay. So I left Ronnie there and I went in and had a look. And she'd put us in the middle, but at the back. And I said, I'm sure that'll be all right. She says, okay then. She said, well, come in when you're ready. Don't think you've got to rush in here. Have your drinks first, or you can bring them through. Whatever you want to do is fine by us. And we'll see you shortly. So I went back in there. I said, yeah, the table looks all right. And we sat there and we had our drink, a little bowl of nuts and these thin things. I don't know what they were. They're like... I don't know what they were made out of, but they were very nice. They were like a little piece of very thin glass, and you couldn't see through them. I don't know what they were made out of, but they were very nice, very crispy. So we had those, and the drinks. Before we'd even finished the drinks, once again, these people are trained to see that you might want something, and a waiter, would you like any more drinks, sir? Before we'd even asked, and we're like, no, we're just going in for our tea now. Okay, sir, that's fine. And in we went, pushed the wheelchair in, got to our seat. The lady who's in charge of followed us round and then offered to take the wheelchair. Do you want to sit in the wheelchair or in the chair? So Ronnie wanted to sit in the chair. She took the wheelchair away and hid it somewhere. I don't know where that went. And it started, and the waiter came over. His name was Brendan. That was the guy with the glasses. Irish lad. It took me a while to tune into his accent. I couldn't go because he was very... I think possibly they teach you to talk in a certain way there. And I couldn't tune into his accent. And as the conversation went on, I said, "You Irish?" He said, "That's right." So that was quite nice, chatting to him about Ireland. And I told him I'd never been to Ireland before. I'd been all over the world, never been to Ireland. And yet my nan was Irish. She was a Ryan. It's just madness, really. So I said I needed to go over there. And Ronnie was saying that he knows someone in Ireland as well. And very shortly, the tea came over. I'm a little bit unadventurous with tea. I just had the English breakfast tea, and Ronnie had some Vietnamese one, which actually I tried a little bit of that, and that was quite nice as well. The sandwiches came over, perfectly presented sandwiches on the plate, absolutely perfect. Followed by scones and cakes and endless tea. We had a glass of champagne each, a rosé champagne, that was nice. And there was a man playing the piano, a lady playing a double bass. And they were there almost right to the end of when we were there. As we were there, we were at a late afternoon tea, like 5:30. I think they started at about 2 o'clock. So we usually go at 2 o'clock. We usually go right early, but this time we done it at the other end of the day. So that was our dinner rather than our tea. You know, I'd had a small meal around about 12 o'clock. So now it's like 5:30 and time for dinner sort of thing. And towards the end of the visit, the piano player and the cello player finished. Okay, and they went. I thought, oh, well, that's the end of the music. 2 minutes later, another two walked in and started. I mean, the music just kept going. As we were sitting there, people were starting to leave, and there wasn't too many of us there when it got to about... Well, if we got there about 5:30, I think we were there till about 7 o'clock. About an hour and a half, 7:15, something like that. But nothing was too much. The service was absolutely impeccable and perfect, and you could not find anything in there to moan about. Not a single thing. Friendly staff. Very, very friendly. Bending over backwards to do anything that you want. You know, there was even a point where my mate wanted to go. Of course, I went to the toilet once. Toilet's lovely. Beautiful toilets. My mate wanted to go to the toilet. And he asked for the wheelchair. She brought it round. I got up and she said, no, you sit there. I'll take him. Just, you know, where can you find this service? If only you could find it in every restaurant. I think the ratio of waiters to tables is quite high as well. I'm sure the waiters there only have to look after one, maybe two tables each. You know, whereas you go in one of these chain restaurants, you've got one poor old dear looking after about, I don't know, 10, 20 tables, and they're running around. And you just don't get the service in these places. But, you know, you do pay for it. Of course you pay for it. But once you've paid for it and you sit there, and I was saying this to my Ronnie's other half last night, you know, when you sit in one of these wonderful posh hotels and have an afternoon tea, and you've paid, let's not hide the fact you've paid a small fortune, for an afternoon tea. But you sit there and you can see where the money is. You got, doorman opening doors, people on front desks welcoming you, 2 or 3 waiters running around after you, the lady on the desk, the opulence in there. All this stuff has to be paid for. And you can see where the money goes. And I've said this before. And yet, you get a small scratch on your car. You take it into the garage and they want £800 to fix it because they got to take the panel off. And all this old business. No, I don't see where the money goes when there's a small scratch on the car. Why hasn't someone come with a little pot of varnish and gone like that over it, Why does that cost so much? Yet you sit there at one of these beautiful afternoon hotel tea places in London and you can see, I don't mind handing over the money. I honestly don't. And it was lovely. The cakes were delicious. I only had 1 round of sandwiches. We've learnt now to have only 1 round of sandwiches. Okay? Once again, if you want any more, you simply just ask. There's no extra unless you go to Selfridges. Don't go to afternoon tea in Selfridges. You'll be disappointed. They don't do it right. Everywhere else we've been has been fine. Selfridges, no. They literally put the food down in front of you and that's it. You don't see them again unless you want something. It shouldn't be like that. You've got to go into a lovely... If you come on holiday to London and you want to do this, it's an entire afternoon and we highly recommend Claridge's. Our favourite places for afternoon tea have been Claridge's and the Mandarin Oriental, our favourite place. Which is the favourite out of the 2 of them? Difficult to compare. They are quite different. Whereas the Mandarin Oriental is very quiet... Claridge's is very quiet, but they have music on. There's someone playing a piano and a bass. You can't really compare the 2. They're different. We like each one, I would say, equally. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Let me see. Piano and cello. I told you the sandwiches. And that's it, really. And then they gave us, on the way out, it was pouring down with rain when we left. Pouring down with rain, and the lady who was in charge, I said, we'll sit here for a while. She said, I'll get you an umbrella. And she's given us a Claridge's umbrella, which I gave to my mate, as it's his birthday. I gave it to my mate. Claridge's umbrella. So that was nice. And some other bits and pieces. They always give you something to take home. Look, so I've got this little bag here. And a little box. Look at this delightful box. Look at that. And in the box, I don't know how this opens, actually. I think they've put a couple of scones in there. Yes, I've got some scones in there. Look, a couple of Claridge's scones. Isn't that lovely? I was going to take these up to my sister, but by sort of Tuesday, they're going to be a bit stale, aren't they? So I'll probably have these myself. And in the little box. Oh, the smell. And all these, of course, are, cooked in there by the, and created in there by the chef. Little box there. You go. Oh, and also here it is. He did tell me what was in here. Some vanilla fudge. Claridge's clotted cream vanilla fudge. My favourite sweets. So go. Highly recommended. Thank you very much for a wonderful day to Claridge's. Alrighty. Let's have a little look at your messages coming in this morning. Good morning to... lots of people have appeared on YouTube there, so good morning to you. Ian Scott, a very good morning. Yes, Ian Scott, good morning to you from Ontibee Island. Morning to you, long time no see. Hope you're doing well there, Ian, all right. Hello to Paul and Lou in Birmingham, good morning. Starting a little later this morning, yes indeed. Thank you. Ian says you need to adjust your lighting. Your bald patch is reflecting off your mirror ball, is it? Hey to JP, good morning to JP. What does a perfect sandwich look like? Depends on your preferences to sandwiches, JP, all right? Ian is glad I didn't start singing. Don't worry, Ian, that's coming a little bit later. Did you leave a tip? Yes, I certainly do. I always leave a really good tip, Ian. I'm very popular in the States. If a service has been done and it's been done well, I give a good... I'm not tight with the tips, never. Never tight with tips. If you do me a crap service, like in the chain restaurants, you'll get nothing. Absolutely. They get a very good tip from me, I'll tell you that. I'm not going to tell you how much. Ian would rather go to Greg's for a sausage roll, but then I'm a Geordie. Will you enjoy your sausage roll? Have you had the vegan ones yet? They're very nice, vegan sausage rolls. Very nice indeed. Joseph says, sounds wonderful. I'd love to get Terry to take me there. You go. You go and have a nice time with him there. Make sure he takes you over there, okay? Good morning to Dave Moses. Now, Dave, your messages don't come up either on my chat. Oh, there it is. Nope, there it is. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Sorry, Dave, I take that back. Dave, loved the video. How much was the lunch? I bet it was at least 200 quid. Not going to tell you. Look it up. Not going to tell you how much it was. No. It was, I think it was priced accordingly to what the whole experience, and it was worth to me, it was worth every penny. Absolutely worth every penny. I didn't think it was overpriced for what it was. If you're going to compare it to going to Greg's for a cheese roll and a sandwich, then you will think it was expensive. Okay? I mean, the two are completely different. You can't. It was absolutely priced perfectly for what they did, I thought. Yeah. All right, Dave. I can't see you. Perhaps you could take Mr. Tony Blackburn there for one of your afternoon teas or something like that when you're discussing things. Eh? Morning to Ross Patzel. Good morning to you. Has Ronnie had problems with blue badge people taking non-blue badge people taking disabled places? Yes, he gets it all the time. He gets it all the time, but he's someone who says something. Oh, he will go and tell them, excuse me, where's your blue badge? He will absolutely tell them, all right? What sort of music do they play? Is it classical? It was kind of pop. There was pop tunes that I recognised there, played classically, if you see what I mean. Interestingly enough, Ross, if you put on Scala Radio, which is a new digital radio station, Scala Radio, they do that as well. So you might have a pop song like Daft Punk. You know that one? That one by Daft Punk, the dance hit a couple of years ago? That has been classicified, if that's the correct word. And they've played that a few times on the station. They did the same sort of thing there. There was two particular songs that I recognised, and I thought, oh, that's clever. They'd done it on piano and cello there, all right. Morning to Abdizarak. Good morning to you, sir. Yes, that's our spring background. The summer one will be coming in a couple of months' time, which I've already got, and you're going to love that. I won't tell you what it is, otherwise it won't be a surprise. All right, morning to Abdizarak. Michael Lawrence, good morning to you. And SOS Gregorian is in the house as well. Good morning to you as well. Of course, I leave a tip. Always leave a tip. Right, funnily enough, just as I finished the show yesterday, you remember I've recently signed up to Vodafone broadband, which was supposed to start on the 21st of May. I'm sitting here and the phone rang, and it was Virgin Media. Okay? Now, remember, I have kicked Virgin Media, if that's the correct word. Kicked, unsubscribed, what do you call it? Told them that I don't want them anymore. Whatever word you would use for that. That was a few days ago now. Well, they were on the phone yesterday asking me what deal I'd been offered, this, that and the other, and they've now matched it. Okay? So after several phone calls to them, I have actually left them. I've got the email to say I'm leaving and all that and the other, and then they ring 2 days later and offered to match the deal that I've been offered with Vodafone, which I've now signed up for. Now, usually, if it's an organisation or a company, at this point I'd say, no, you're too late. However, the fact that I need to change broadband because it's specifically Virgin Media, to any other one means men have to come and lay a new cable, okay? And then come into my house, bring the cable round, bring it into the house, right? By sticking with Virgin Media or re-signing up with them, I can avoid all that. All they got to do is push a couple of buttons on a computer, and what I'm going to do is drop my speed from 350 meg to 100 meg. No one needs 350 meg. It's just ridiculous. And 10 meg up instead of 20, which is perfectly all right for me. That's going to drop my phone bill from £53 a month to 24. I beg my broadband bill from £53 a month to 24. Huge drop. So I've decided to do that, so I don't have to have the hassle of. It was going to stop me going up to the caravan one week, actually. Much to the disappointment of my sister. She likes me going up there, and I like going up there as well. So I don't have to do that now. I can go up to my caravan. So I rung up Vodafone. I was a bit, what do you say to them now? You've signed up and all that, but you've got a 14-day cooling off period, you see. So I rung them up and cancelled the installation and all that. Told them I was going to move to Australia. Oh, luck would have it, wouldn't it? I'd love to move to Australia, be offered some sort of job over there doing something similar to this or whatever. Won't ever happen, of course. I don't believe it'll ever happen, but there we are. Never know. Stranger things has happened. Jesus rose from the dead, dear. That was strange, wasn't it? I might get a job in Australia. There you are. So I decided eventually to stick with Virgin Media. As I say, once I've gone so far, once I've signed up, I will normally say, no, I'm sorry, you're too late. But it was the very fact that for my convenience, I won't have to stay in the house now and wait for a cable to be bought in, along with all the other hassle. Maybe you can get problems with the wire coming in and all that. I don't have to do that now. All they have to do is touch a couple of buttons. So I re-signed up with Virgin Media, spoke to Vodafone, very understanding. They cancelled the installation and everything else. He said I'd get an email. I haven't had an email yet, so I'll chase it up perhaps a little bit later on today. Maybe they take a couple of days to come through. So I'll now be staying with Virgin Media. All right. You are Abdizarak. I love that little. He's just sent me a little party emojis. That's very good, isn't it? I love it. I love it. Good morning to Alan Russell joining us as well this morning. Where's the YouTube people today? Where's Claire and all that? They're not here today, are they? Morning to Maureen, texting in on the texting number as well. Good morning to you, Maureen. Don't forget, gang, if you ever have trouble getting your messages through for whatever reason, please send a text. The number is up there, 07551 259 675. It's only for text. If you ring it, no one will answer, okay? 07551 259 675 is our text in number. Good morning to Michael Pullman. Very good morning to Michael Pullman, who is in Australia as well. Ross says, I'm tempted to threaten Virgin. I'll leave as well. Bill us a lot, and we rarely watch TV now, just YouTube. But I'm the same. It all works well, just a lot of money. Ross, you have to leave them. You literally have to. You wait till near the end of your contract, ring them up, then make you a better offer, but it won't be that much better. Okay? I literally had to leave them. Okay? So I said, okay, I want to leave you. And it got as far as I've got the email here saying I'm terminating a contract from them and the date of which my termination was, which was the 31st of May. Okay? 2 days. 2 days after that email, after I disconnected from, after I told them I was leaving, 2 days after that, and we've gone for the whole thing. Remember that. I've not just said I'm thinking about leaving him. I am leaving you on this date. I'm terminating my contract. 2 days after that, they rung up and matched the deal. Okay, so you've got to go right to the bitter end. You have to tell them you're going to leave. All right. I have no television here, Ross, other than Netflix. It's the only one I've got. I will not subscribe to Sky or Virgin Media or anything like that. Telly is costing an absolute fortune. You'd be very surprised if you came off all these subscription televisions. There's hundreds of free television stations to watch. And if you really want to pay for something, go with Netflix. It's 10 quid a month. That's all it is. 10 quid a month. It's nothing. So there you are. You've got to go right through the end of the system. Good morning to Info Dude. A very good morning to you. Ross says it goes to retentions when you leave. That's the people who can do the best deal. Yeah, but you've got to leave. You've got to give them a date. Right, I want to be cut off at that date. And then you might get a phone call after that, okay? Mike's got Virgin 100 meg broadband, £38 a month. How did you get it that cheap? Do you have TV and phone too? No, Mike. No. I was on £53 a month. And the first lot of phone calls, they were offering me £38 a month, the same as you. Then I think then it went to £37 a month, and I'm like, no, I'm not paying it. I said I can go with Vodafone broadband, £22 a month. And time went on, and it came to my last 30 days or whatever, and I rung them and I said, right, okay, I'm leaving you. This is the date. And that's it. So they said, okay, thank you very much. Took the details, sent the letter out to me, as I just told you. Sent the letter out to me, gave me the leaving date. That was it. I thought that was all. That was it. I went down to Vodafone, signed up with them. 2 days after, they rung up and said, okay, we'll give it to you for £24 a month. You've got to go right to the very end of the line, and you need to be nearly out of contract as well. They won't do it before. If you've got another 2 months, 6 months, whatever to go, you're wasting your time. You're not going to get a better deal. You've got to go right to the very end of the line. You've got to leave. You've literally got to leave, okay? And then they'll offer it to you. All right? Michael, did Ronnie enjoy his day? Yes, we've done that, Michael. Watch the replay afterwards, my friend, and you'll see a little video of our day there, okay? All right? The Phantom is watching. Is that the Phantom? The Phantom is watching over there. I think it's Twitch aren't you? Twitch or something like that. Good. Katie, I just changed my phone too. Had to change my phone back to Optus. That's the Australian thing, isn't it? I don't have reception here for Dodo. I don't know what Dodo is. Is that the name of your phone company? Dodo? Is that right? Dodo, the phone company. Whoever thought of Dodo as the name of the phone company? It sounds like a poo, doesn't it? Do the poos. Oh dear. Well, that wasn't the only bit of excitement. So we've had Claridge's. We got the Virgin Media ringing up. As I say, I spoke to Vodafone. They were very understanding the fact that I was going to move to Australia, which I'm not, but that's what I told them. And then on the way to Claridge's, I got a phone call from the car people to say that the new car will be ready on Saturday. So I've got to collect that on Saturday. So that's a nice thing to happen as well. If I wasn't doing the job that I do, I wouldn't be buying a new car. I say buying, I don't buy new cars, I rent them. It's being rented, okay? It's only because of the job I do, and if something goes wrong on the way to work, there's no one to pick up the job, okay? People would turn up expecting, whether it's, I don't really DJ anymore, but it's DJing or any sort of entertainment type thing. Anyone who's doing entertainment type things will tell you, whether it's a singer, a drag queen, DJ, karaoke host, some quiz show, television people, all these sort of people. If they break down on the way to work, there's no one else to take the job suddenly. It's very unlikely you'd be able to ring up someone and say, I can't get to work, can you go and do it? And even if you did, those people there are expecting to see you. I know this sounds a bit silly, but they're expecting to see, for example, tonight, me. And if there's someone else there, but some of them will be disappointed. So that's the only reason I have a new car. I think if I wasn't doing the job I wouldn't have a new car. I'd have second-hand cars and be done with it. But I need reliability. The Japanese, they're very well known for their reliability, whether it's Toyota like me or Honda or one of those. Very, very reliable. And that's the number one thing in my head is reliability. Number two, economy. Speed comes way down the lists. Fuel economy as well on there, number three. So there we are. It's the same as I've got now, Michael. Same as I've got now, another Toyota, all right? Good morning to Paul Dow. Good morning, Paul. Hello, nice to see you. Ross likes the look of the scones. It is scones from Claridge's, Alan. Do try and get here nearer time, please, if you don't mind. Bit late this morning, aren't we, boys and girls? Never mind. So that's the car coming as well. So busy. And even something else that was marvellous yesterday. Even something else. Afterwards, after Claridge's, we thought we'd go and have a little walk around Selfridges. We didn't buy anything, but I like going in there. That's nice, isn't it? Honestly, the price of some of the stuff in there. I picked up this jacket. It was just nothing special, like a bit of a bomber jacket, but it was light blue with whales on the front. How much is this one? Nearly £3,000. Dear me, for a coat. We picked up trainers in there that were like £600-700 for a pair of trainers. Ridiculous amounts of money for stuff. But people buy it, otherwise it wouldn't be there. £600, £700, £800 for a pair of trainers. Shirts, £200 for a pair of trainers, for a shirt. All in Selfridges, so we had a good walk around in there for about an hour. because we came out of Claridge's around about 7:15, 7:30. And actually, the rain stopped very quickly once we started walking. And we had about an hour to kill because we didn't want to leave with all the traffic. So that's why we went. We went to Selfridges, and you saw some of the windows there in the little video I showed you earlier on in the show today. Coming back from Selfridges, going to the car, I popped into the pub to use the toilet. As I come out of this pub, and it was packed, this pub, with all like people in suits and things, there it was, next to someone's foot, a £10 note, and I swooped. Boys and girls, I swooped onto that £10 note like a magpie. Magpie! 1 for sorrow and 2 for joy. 3 for a girl and 4 for a boy. 5 for silver and 6 for gold. 7 for a secret never to be told. Magpie! Old kids programme on Thames in the 1970s, that was. Anyway, so I swooped up. I quickly put my foot on this £10 note and I bent down to pick it up. One bloke looked at me. Whether or not he saw me pick up the £10 from the floor on the pavement, I don't know. But I swooped down on that and straight in my pocket. I got back to the wheelchair and I'm pushing Ronnie along. Blooming hard work that was pushing her up that hill. And I said, I've just found £10. And do you know what he said? He said, oh, that's mine because it's my birthday. No, it's not. That was 2 days ago. It's my £10. I found it. I went on and on about that. I should have bought the actual £10 note up here to show you. But first time I've ever found 10 quid on the floor. Sometimes I've found, a coin or something like that. And you often hear these stories about people that step out of their car onto a £50 note or something like that. Well, I found 10 quid and I'm happy with that. Thank you very much. And on the way home, we came back home and went to Aldi as we got home because I got these stuff for some campfire stew, which I've got going in the slow cooker at the moment from Aldi. And I've found these Slimwell meals. I had the meal I had yesterday afternoon before we went out to Claridge's was this rice. It was like this Indian-y curry type rice thing, vegetable balsami, vegetable something, which was absolutely delicious. Only 300 calories in that. And it was quite big. So I bought some more of those in Aldi yesterday, some other bits and pieces, some fresh fruit, some fresh vegetables to make campfire stew. Went over to Ronnie's, had a bit more of his birthday cake, had a cup of tea. Then I come back here, and I'm making my campfire stew. Chopped up all the vegetables. I haven't got the blooming spices. Oh, God, I thought. So I didn't have the coriander or the cumin or something else. Or paprika. I didn't put the paprika in, did I? Oh, I have got that. I can still put that in now. It's going to be cooking for another 2 hours anyway. So I didn't have the spices. Didn't have those 2 items, cumin and coriander. There might have been another thing that wanted to go in there. So I substituted them for the spices that I use when I'm making spaghetti arrabbiata. So I put in oregano and thyme. I don't know what you two you would think about that. Is that a suitable substitute, do you think? Thyme. So I've substituted coriander and cumin for thyme and oregano. We'll see what it's like. It smells all right up here. It's got everything else in it that it should have, but I need to put some paprika in when I finish the show today and see how that goes. Let's snacks after the show. Snacks after that's exactly what it is. Alan Russell, 20 years ago, my mum found £5,000 in pound coins. It fell off a Group 4 security van. She handed it into the police and got a £5 reward. Why on earth did you hand that in? Oh, no, dear. Finders keepers. God, so £5,000 and she handed it in? Dear me, must be mad. Dave says you should have handed the £10 note into your local police station, dear. I thought you was a decent, kind, caring citizen. I am. You should have seen the money that these people had standing outside the pub. They weren't poor people, Dave. Not like you, dear. They weren't. They were very rich people, Dave. You might be a rich person one day. Doubtful, but it might happen. What about your brother? He makes a load of money with the computers, doesn't he? Eh? Mike, Audi, shouldn't you gone to Waitrose? No, makes no difference to me. No airs and graces about me, Mike. I'm telling you that now, mate. There is, my mate is. He don't like people to know that he goes to Aldi. I can give a toss. Where I go wherever it's cheapest. Thank you very much. Michael found £70 on the floor near the bar in London. Is that right? 70 quid. Oh, lovely. £70. Imagine finding that. Good morning to Claire. Morning to Claire. No good will come of that terrible lie about Australia. Do you learn nothing in the church on a Sunday? Ross has got a Toyota. I didn't know that. Ross has got Toyota. Excellent, solid cars. They absolutely are. Good morning to Fast Times One, who is in America this morning. Dave Moses, did you used to have a Land Rover? Yes, I had 3. I loved them. I had Defenders. I loved them, but horrendously expensive to run the damn things. Well, we get about 20 miles to the gallon. Dear me, I was putting in £100 a week, and that was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That was about 14 years ago. Can you imagine how much I'll be putting in now? Too expensive to run Land Rovers. Far, far too expensive to run those things. All right. Yes, there we are. So that was my day yesterday. Busy, eh? Busy. Good. Now, what news stories do I have for you this morning? Good news, if you paid for cash, they're keeping the 1 and 2 pence coins. You may have seen recently in the news that they were considering getting rid of 1 and 2 pence coins. Well, in the Daily Mirror, it was on the news as well this morning. Last spring, the Chancellor announced he was taking a long, hard look into the future of copper coins. Well, expensive to make, almost never spent and frequently just thrown in the bin, which they are. I see people, they go and pay for their drinks at the bar and they just simply leave the copper on the bar. Very, very foolish. You might need that 1 pence one day to get on the bus. Well, expensive to make, almost never spent and frequently just thrown in the bin by Brits who can't be bothered to clog up their wallets and purses with them. The days of being able to spend a penny look numbered, in the Daily Mirror it says. But for the second time, the Chancellor, the Conservative Chancellor, has pulled the plug on plans to scrap the penny piece. It stays! Yeah! Philip Hammond has now confirmed there will be no changes to current coins and notes, with all denominations from the penny to the £50 note staying in circulation. So that's good news. Good news. The Chancellor was keen to stress that we would act to safeguard more than just copper coins. With experts predicting that Britain could go entirely cashless in the next 10 years, Hammond emphasised that people still reliant on notes and coins would not be left behind. Technology has transformed banking for millions of people, making it easier and quicker to carry out financial transactions and pay for the services. But it's also clear that many people still rely on cash and want the public to have the choice over how they spend their money. It says, I'm also setting up a group which brings together the Treasury, Bank of England and the regulators to safeguard the future of cash and ensure its availability for years to come. Which is all well and good, until you go into a place which doesn't take cash. Now, I don't know if they're actually allowed to do this, because look, you would read that story and thinking, well, hang on a minute. Our shops and ships allowed to refuse cash. I recently went to Legoland with my nephew and his wonderful family, one of which is 4 years old today. Happy birthday to great niece Olivia, 4 years old today. Okay, and we went to Legoland and we went to buy a hot dog. £3.50, please. Got out the money. I'm sorry, we're cards only. Eh? Well, we don't take cash. And it was the same at the ice cream place. And the same at the tea place. They don't take cash. So had we not have had a card with us, we wouldn't have been able to buy that cup of tea or the ice cream or the hot dog. And the same thing happened to my mate the other day. He was in Islington, which dreadful place, Islington. It really is horrible and built up and full of fumes and horrible people. I'm not a fan of Islington at all, or any city places, to be honest. Anyway, so he's got out the car there to buy a cup of coffee, got the money out. I'm sorry, we're cards only here. I mean, are they allowed to do that? I suppose they would. They must be if they're doing it. But, you would read that story and think to yourself, they're not actually allowed to do that, wouldn't you? But nevertheless, the 1p and 2p's are staying, boys and girls. Have you been anywhere where there are cards only and no cash? Funny, isn't it? Even yesterday, I suppose. Yesterday, I mean, I handed over my card when it came to paying the bill, but they didn't say it was cards only or anything like that, you know. He gave me the bill and then had to go and get the credit card machine. He didn't just give me the credit card machine. Perhaps some people do pay in cash in there as well. Funny, isn't it, really? Ross says, I use all my 1 and 2 pence pieces in the self-scan tills at Tesco's. That's a good place to get rid of them, isn't it? When you're at one of those self-scan tills in supermarkets, I don't feel rushed. Not like you are when you're in like the queue of people and you've got the girl or the boy on the till. Beep, 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 beep. And then they ask for your money. I feel at that point like I'm under pressure to find my money as quickly as possible and get out of the way for the next one. I don't feel like that at a self-service checkout. I just take your time, you know. I'm there hours sometimes, putting in 1 pence, 2 pence. Ross does that. That's when he gets rid of his coins like that. All right. Interesting, isn't that? Interesting. Katie's, her daughter's left for America today. Oh, never mind. Michael will look after her. Michael's going to go around there and look after her instead. All right. Mike likes using Apple Pay where I can. Now, I don't have that Apple Pay. I think you've got to set it up on your phone, haven't you? Apple Pay or something like that. So that's the 1 and 2 pence coins. Worry not, boys and girls. The coins will remain. They will remain. I'll do one more story. Now, you've heard me in the last few days tell you that the petrol prices seem to be going up and up at the moment. Penny every few days. And there it is. Oh, hang on. Dave says I put my 1 and 2p's in the dishwasher sometimes. Nothing worse than handing over a grubby £1, 1 pence coin. You don't, do you? Oh, that'll make a rattle. Like an old, great big old zip in the washing machine going round and round and round, dear. Round and round. Road rage in the Sun this morning. Petrol prices rocket by 5 pence a litre. I told you they were going up, didn't I? I'd noticed it over the last few days. Petrol prices soared by 5 pence a litre last month. So 5 pence a litre, that's 20 pence a gallon. That's a lot. Adding £3 to the cost of filling an average family car. It's the second worst monthly rise since 2000, 19 years ago. I always find that quite scary when you talk about 2000, which to me was like yesterday, and it's 19 years ago. People born in 2000 are 19. How many of you went out for that disastrous New Year's Eve 1999 to 2000 night? What a disaster that was everywhere, because people just got greedy. Some of these pubs were charging 40, the place I was working in wanted £45 entrance fee. I mean, similarly, we adjusted our prices accordingly. Although when the night came, I dropped my price because there was no one there. Instead of having like 300, 400 people in the pub, we had about 40. People just wouldn't pay it. So it mucked up. Completely mucked up that. Anyway, the story goes on. The price of an unleaded petrol shot up from 122.6 to 128.6 in April, according to data. I think it's gone up more than that, to be honest. And then it gives details of where you are in the country. And to be honest, it doesn't seem to make much difference whereabouts you are in the country. If you're in Wales, it's 127.4. London, 129. You would expect that perhaps. The cheapest place there appears to be Northern Ireland, 125. But even, the difference between 125 and 120 is only 3 pence. Doesn't make much difference. I mean, you wouldn't drive to Ireland just to fill up, would you? It says it's the third consecutive month of price rises, meaning unleaded has gone up 8.5 pence since the beginning of February. Filling up a 55-litre family car with unleaded petrol is now £3 more expensive and will cost £70 on average. The data shows I never ever thought I'd be putting nearly £100 worth of petrol in the car each time you fill up. I mean, what does my car? My car's, at the moment, it's about £54 to fill up my car, about 54 quid. And I drive carefully. Generally, I get 55-ish miles to the gallon. It's a fairly large car as well, but I do drive carefully. I'm the one in the slow lane, I'm afraid. Yeah, doing about 50, 55 mile an hour. Yeah. But I don't get any hassle really. When you drive at that speed, you see the the speeds that some people drive at in that fast lane, and people chasing each other and flashing and hooting. When you're driving slowly, they tend to just go around you and leave you alone. I never get any hassle. Never. There's never any sort of terrible incidents or anything like that. You know, people sometimes, and I don't understand this, you can be on a motorway in the slow lane. The other two lanes are empty and someone will come up behind you and start flashing. Oh, why don't you go past? They're strange people, aren't they? It says the worst fuel hike was in May 2018 when petrol jumped nearly 6p a litre over the month. So RAC spokesman said despite the good weather, April turned out to be one of its bleakest months ever for drivers, with its second biggest monthly rise in the price of petrol for nearly 20 years. RAC Fuel Watch data shows the price of unleaded rose every single day from the end of March for 3.5 weeks, which is the longest run of daily price rises since May last year. And I've certainly seen it. My nearest petrol station is Sainsbury's, just up the road there, and that's generally where I fill up. They're usually the cheapest around here. There is an Audi, but it's not worth doing the journey. I think of about 10 miles to Asda and back, just to get cheap petrol. It's just not worth it. You lose that saving in the 10-mile journey you've done. Although when, of course, I'm up north, I've got two cheap petrol stations up north, both Asda ones. One in Skegness, where we visit usually on a Wednesday or a Thursday with my sister and brother-in-law, and the other one in Boston. And they tend to be the cheapest ones around there. Interestingly, the one in Boston is also near a Tesco's filling station, and the two of them seem to compete. Sometimes one is cheaper than the other, and they're quite close to each other as well. Probably in North London, your best place to get petrol would be Watford. There's a junction in Watford, okay, and on that junction there's about 4 petrol stations. There's an Asda, there's a Sainsbury's, there's a BP, and there's a Shell. I think they all are. And they're all very, very close to each other on this junction. They're constantly competing. And that, I think that's probably, I don't know what that is actually. Let's have a look. Asda, oh, hang on. Asda, what are you doing? Watford petrol price. Let's see what they're charging at the moment. I know the Sainsbury's up the road at the moment. It's been going up and up and up. At the moment, it's 127.9 now. Current fuel prices. Let's have a look. How do I find that? Oh, here we are. There it is. Oh, that's good. Asda. Oh, it just says Asda. It doesn't actually say what the price is. What if I click it? Oh, there we are. Okay. Now, is that? I'll find this in a minute for you. Don't worry not. Bear with me, boys and girls. It's all bits and pieces there. Which way is Asda? Is that up the sort of Cheshunt way? Welwyn Garden City? Is that sort of that way, isn't it? But Watford, there it is, Watford. In Watford, it's... Oh, wow. Oh, no, that's February's price, that is. Well, in February, they were charging 114. It doesn't say what it is now, unfortunately, but that's where you want to go, Asda in Watford. All right? Michael, what's in the bag? I told you already at the beginning of the show. It's not my fault you're late. You'll have to watch the replay later. You'll have to watch the replay, won't you? What's in the bag? 9:15 we started, Michael. Have to watch the replay. Let's have a look. Where are we now? Mike, I have a diesel car, and the difference between petrol and diesel is nearly 10p now. Yes, it is. The difference between diesel and petrol is now really high and has been for some time. You know, sometimes it got close and then was the same. But there seems to be a constant gap now between diesel and petrol of 10 pence, doesn't there? It's quite a lot. I had a diesel car for years and years. Good morning to Paul Adamson. Global petrol prices is where you can find that. Okay, globalpetrolprices.com if you ever want to find out your petrol prices. A very good morning to the delightful LaBelle. Good morning, LaBelle. Joining us towards the end of our little show as well. Good. Let's do today's birthdays, boys and girls. Oh, good morning to Terry Hawks. Good morning, Terry. There he is. Terry is a virgin, so please be gentle. Never. I will never be gentle. We've only got 3 birthdays today. Ahmad is 20 years old this morning. Good morning, Ahmad. 20 today. Kathy Franks, good morning. Morning, Kathy. 77 years old today. One of my childhood friends. Good morning, Catherine. Michael Henricks today is 34 years old. So just 3 birthdays there for you today, boys and girls. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Michael's getting all excited. He's going to scroll back to the beginning of the programme. You'll have to give it a couple of minutes while it processes, all right? And then you can go back to the beginning of the show. And you will find out within the first 10 minutes of the show what is in that bag. What's in the bag? Who joined us late today? You're dying to know what's in that bag. You'll have to wait for the replay, which will appear within about 2 minutes of me finishing the show today, okay? It's Friday night, so tonight I'll be hosting karaoke. You'll find that at Central Station Bar. If what you're doing tonight, you want to come along? Central Station Bar, karaoke tonight, each and every Friday from 8:30 right the way through until close at midnight tonight. There we are. Have a lovely day, boys and girls. I shall now get onto my insurance company and see if I can change my car over for tomorrow. How exciting. Have a lovely day. Thanks for watching and listening. Cheerio now.